Welcome to Elliott's PT podcast. I'm here to help you find your balance and live your best life guilt-free. I don't believe there is a one-size-fits-all approach for health and fitness. We're all different and we need to find out what works for us. I'm passionate about helping people make realistic, long-term lifestyle changes that they will stick to and they will take with them forever. I don't believe in crazy diets or short-term fixes. We all need to live and find a perfect balance in diet and exercise that suits our individual needs. I want to help you find your exercise mojo, feel great and achieve wonderful things. Here is Elliott's PT podcast by Renae Elliott.
Hello, and welcome back to Elliott's PT podcast. Today I wanted to talk about how group fitness really did save me when I had just had a baby. So it was something that I'm so grateful for, that I ended up having this community. Even though as I was the instructor, it still was something that saved me. And I know from lots of mums that I have that do the classes, or, that finally get out and they start to join the classes, how important that exercise is, but how important even having that little routine. It makes such a difference, especially when you have a baby, because there's lots of times that you do just feel alone. When I first had Cooper, so he is nearly 8 now. So when I first had him, you were set up with our mother's group. So you were set up with that, and really, I didn't know many people that had my brother's wife had children, but I didn't really know many people, and we had newly moved to the area, only a few years before. So I didn't really know many people that had kids, but I got set up in a mother's group, and I was excited because I thought, you'd heard stories of people that had met, their little babies had met when they were at mother's group at babies, and they were still friends with their adults. And I wanted that for my child. So anyway, because I thought that would be nice, not that he even mattered or that he knew it would matter to him, but anyway. So I got joined up with the mother's group, which was fine, and we were sitting there, and sitting there as the weeks went by, and they did different talks or different things, and I just didn't click. I just didn't click with any of the mums there. And I started really hating going. I started really starting to dread it. And then I would be felt like I had to go because I wanted Cooper to have that little friend. But I just didn't connect. I just didn't connect with any of the mums there. And as much as they, I remember, and again, just being a first time mum, I just didn't really understand. So I was sitting there, and I remember them talking about not judging anyone and all of that stuff, but they were so the type of people that did. But anyway, that's fine. So they talked about that, and I remember one day I had started running with the pram. I found that running was something I didn't really like it that much before, because I used to do it on the treadmill, and I had the belief that I couldn't run outside, which was my own belief. So I believed I couldn't run outside because I needed the treadmill to keep me at a steady pace. But that was my own belief that was holding me back, because it wasn't true. And I soon realized, well, what was an activity that I could be fit, and that I wanted to get back to the size that I was and how I felt before I had a baby. And I remember I started running, and then, I was telling these mums, and they were like, oh, you can't do that. You have, the neck control of the baby, and you can't run for at least, this many months, and obviously, Cooper was fine in the pram when I was running. And anyway, so I didn't really gel with anybody in the classes, and that's fine. And then there was just one day that I was sitting there, I was just dreading going, and I just thought, why am I doing this to myself? You're actually really hating it. And it was just the dread would start the night before of going, and I just thought, stop it. Cooper will make friends when he's older. You don't need to do this for him. And it was making me unhappy. So so I stopped going, and that was perfect for me. I stopped going, and I realized how much that was actually adding stress to me in the background, because I wasn't really enjoying it. I wasn't enjoying going, and but I wanted to be around like other people, and then so I started going there, and then before I had Cooper, I worked in a office. So I worked in an office, and I used to do the payroll. So I used to run some classes as well as work full time. So I did that, and then I was on maternity leave. So while I was on maternity leave, I got a phone call, and I was asked to go in. So I went in it was a morning tea. So we were going in for a morning tea because it was someone's birthday. So I went in, and as I was about to leave, we had the morning tea, and obviously Cooper was 8 weeks old, and everybody was, humming and hawing over him and all that. And then just before I was about to leave, one of the managers was up from Brisbane, and she said, "Oh, can I speak to you?" And I was like, "Sure thing." And I was like to myself, "Oh, she's going to ask me to come back." She's going to ask when I'm coming back. And she said to me, so to pull me aside, so remember Cooper was 8 or so weeks old. So I had him in my arms, and and anyway, I went into the office totally oblivious, no idea that there was anything that was going to happen, and I got made redundant. So it was a real shock to be made redundant, especially when I was on maternity leave. They made 4 other people redundant that day, and I remember being told it, and I was in shock because I didn't expect it. And I looked down at Cooper, and he's looking at me with these little big eyes, and I looked at him, and I thought, I can't cry because he's going to cry. And obviously he was only 8 weeks old, so I was still obviously very hormonal still, and I just pulled myself together. And anyway, they were like, do you need us to walk you to the car? And I was like, no. So anyway, I got him into the car, and then I cried. And that was fine. It was just a shock. But so I was made redundant. So I had a choice to make that day. I had a choice to, what do I do? What do I do? I always wanted to do fitness full time. I always wanted to do fitness full time. So it was a great push that I needed. So I was like, right, I have a choice to make. I can either go and try, not at the moment, but when my maternity leave finishes, look to go and find another office job, or I could really make my personal training, group fitness, which is my passion, and make that work for me full time. And that was the decision I made. And in the same kind of time, I was going to this mum's group, and I wasn't enjoying it, and I was feeling like I just felt like I needed like an out kind of every day, like somewhere to go out or an activity or something to do. But I just needed to feel like I was around people that were similar, similar to me. So anyway, I started from then on. I started thinking, okay, I'll start running classes, at around 9 o'clock-ish. So I started doing that, and then I slowly built up a community of mums, and we were all similar because we all enjoyed fitness, and it saved me. It saved me. Now I wasn't, I wasn't depressed. I'm sure I probably had bouts of good feelings and not great feelings. I'm sure I didn't, but being around mums, having that daily thing to go to. Being around mums that were similar, that we enjoyed exercise, and just there was different mums that even had older kids or younger kids. So I learned so much. But it was, for me, it was the best thing, and that's why I love group fitness so much, and everything that it brings, because with a new baby, it was the thing that it really did. It saved me. I think it saved me from being depressed, from really being, because you're not only exercising, but you're just, sometimes it was, when I had like a little one, it was definitely my favorite part of the day. It was the best thing, and having people that were similar, similar. We enjoyed fitness, but I think you find that if you like fitness, or or you go to these things, you just find that you end up attracting similar people. So we had these similar people, and it was honestly, it was a thing. It really did save me. So I encourage anybody with a new baby to not feel alone, to not feel that you are on your own, and that you have to stay at home, or you have to be doing something that you feel like you're not comfortable with. So like, I stayed in a group because I felt like that was the thing that you had to do. And I think when you're a first-time mum, I know for me, being a first-time mum, like you don't know, so you listen to a lot of other people, which is fine. I listened to everybody else, and I was like, oh, I better do this because people said to do this, or I better do that. There's all that unknown, and I want to do the right thing. And by the time that I then got to my second baby, I had a different confidence, and I didn't worry as much as what people said. I just did what I knew was right for me. And I guess that's the difference between number one and number two. But I just really encourage people not to feel alone, not to stay alone. And if exercise is something that you enjoyed before babies, get out and find a group, a group of similar people. Exercise postpartum is really important, and as long as you're with a qualified trainer that knows how to adapt the training to suit wherever you're at, you'll be fine. And it's good for the baby. Like when I first started, obviously Cooper was little, and just started the classes, and as you start off, there was only maybe a couple of people, but they had babies as well, and then he had other things to play with. And as he got older, he got used. They were in the park, and as he got older, he was just used to the park, and he used to call the park his park. He thought he owned the park because we were there every day, and it let him run around. And he got out, and he would sometimes join in the activities. He would sometimes be playing on the playground. I could always see him at all times. It was great. And it really was, and I think that being around other mums, and knowing that you're not alone in different thoughts you have, knowing that there is something to try if you're struggling with something, or like if you're struggling with something with your baby, they're awake all night, and maybe another mum who's been through the same thing could be like, oh, maybe try this. It was those things that really helped me. I got so much from being in that environment and being around other mums that were going through the same things. I knew that I wasn't alone. I knew that there was, other mums that felt the same way, or maybe felt the same things stressed them out, or felt the same frustrations. It's just that there is a lot of when you first have a baby, going from that transition of, if you're someone that, works full time before, I went from a 9 to 5 to then being home all the time, which I wasn't used to. My personality is someone that likes to be busy. I like to be busy, and then I just had this baby to look after, which, yes, that keeps you very busy, but there was nothing. There needed to be something for me as well, because I knew that was important to keep me sane. And I see so many mums, they have their kids and they have their babies, and they forget about themselves. And it's really important to put yourself first, because when you're strong, you can be strong for everyone else. I always say to everybody else, like, you are the powerhouse of your family. And generally it's the women that hold the family together. So you're the one. I know that they're doing lots more organizing. Maybe they're coordinating things, keeping things together, knowing which activities to go to, what to do. You're the one that's keeping everyone together. Now, if you're not feeling good, then how can your kids, how can you be good for your kids? How can you be patient when you're already feeling frustrated, when you're already feeling tired? How can you be good for them? And what are you showing them? You're showing them not to put themselves first, and that's the thing as well, is I always knew I needed to exercise, was always a priority for me. not just because I was a trader, because I know how good it makes me feel. I wanted to get back to the shape that I was before. I wanted to feel how I felt. And so that was really important to me. Whether that makes it vain, I don't know, but that was important to me, and that is something that I value. So, after having my baby, there was those things. But I see mums all the time. I see mums that make, they make lunches for their husbands, or their partners, and they make lunches for their kids, but they don't make lunch for themselves. They just pick on the food, and then they feel crappy because they're not eating properly or they're not eating enough food. And it's really important. It's really important to put yourself first. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you selfish. And my philosophy was, if I knew that I knew that I needed more than just my baby. That doesn't mean I don't love my baby. That means I don't want to spend time with them, but I knew I needed to do something else as well to keep my head sane. I remember my mum came with me, and I went to like a breastfeeding class. And the lady said in the breastfeeding class that all you have to do is, it's talking about breastfeeding on demand, and that you just have to sit at home and just breastfeed. And that's it. You can't go out, you can't do anything else, because you just need to be able to feed on demand, and you just have to sit there and be able to feed. And I came out of that breastfeeding class, and I was like to Mum, I'm not doing it. I was like, if I have to do that, I will go crazy. If I'm like being told I can't go out, I will go crazy. And I knew that about myself. And I did breastfeed, and I actually loved it. I just made it work for me. And but there was all this fear of things that people were telling you that you had to do, and I was like, I can't live like that. I can't live my life like that, because I guess I knew a little bit about myself, of what worked for me and what didn't. I just want to encourage you to think about, if you are at home, you've had a baby, you feel alone, your body's not quite the way it was before you, because obviously your body changes during pregnancy. It's meant to, and that's natural, and it's amazing what our bodies can do. It's so amazing. But it's important to build your strength back up. It's important, if you are thinking about having another baby, to build that strength back up. Not to go, oh, well, I'll fix it all after I have my children. No, maintain it. If you have abdominal separation, if you have any pelvic floor issues, they're important to get on top of it now, before it becomes a bigger problem. And that's what I see, people ignoring them. And it's daily tasks that you need to do, but they can take 5 minutes, and they can totally fit around your babies. I have designed specific programs for that reason, because I know what it's like. I know what the juggle's like. So I have a whole Rebuild Your Core program, which has tasks that are built around your baby, and around, like little small 12-minute, 10-minute activities that you can do around them. The thing as well is, when you start off doing these things when your baby's young, they know no different. So my son, who's 8 now, he loves exercise. And both my children understand that, my workouts are never perfect. There might be workouts, they might sit next to me, they might join in, they might jump all over me, but they know that I'm still going to work out. They don't jump on me as much now because they're older, but I've done it since they were born, and they know no different. And I watch it with mums here, when there's mums that come to the classes, and they start off when the kids are young, they know no different. They actually look forward to that routine and that part of the day too. So you're not being bad for them, you're being good for them. And think about the message that you're sending them. You're sending them the message that it's important to do something for you. You're sending the message of how important exercise is. So kids are from such a young age are learning how to exercise, and they see it and they want to do exercise with you. And I've had people tell me so many amazing stories of how, because my classes are on Zoom as well, so you can do them at home. And they say how the kids, if they hear my voice, they know to work out, or they say, I want to exercise like Renae, or they see, they'll see the videos and those types of things. Like, it's so good. And, they have kids that set their mats up next to their mums and do all that stuff. So it's it's so important, and it is so possible with children. There's a mum that comes here, and she's got a little boy, and he has came since she was young, and she does the 5:15, 5:30 classes every morning, and he comes with her, and he knows the routine. He's comfortable with everybody, and it's good for them. It's so good for them. And it was really, I really feel it was the best thing I ever did for myself as a new mum. From feeling, obviously being made redundant was a big blow because I was on maternity leave. I didn't understand why I got made redundant. I believe I got made redundant because I had a baby. But because they knew that I was probably more likely to go and have another baby. But obviously they didn't say that. But they said it was my performance, but I've been on maternity leave for like 10 weeks. So how could it be my performance? And I hadn't been, had never been given a performance review or been told I'd been doing stuff wrong. But anyway, from feeling pretty hopeless and feeling not good about myself when I had been made redundant, from feeling that way to then having, creating a group atmosphere. And all of my classes, I just go by what I would like. I go by what I think I would like and what I would really enjoy. And, just having that exercise, having that purpose every day to go to so to have my kids welcome, it was amazing. And it was the best thing I did, because I created a group when I didn't fit into the mothers group. I then created a group without knowing. I didn't do it deliberately, but I created a group. I created a mothers group of my own. There were people that were like me. They had kids of similar ages, and it made me not feel so alone, because it can be really lonely. There's times that you feel scared to go out because maybe your little one's crying, and they don't like the car. We had a whole phase where Cooper didn't like the car and he would cry. From that feeling of maybe being too scared to go out. Obviously, I know there's lots of things at the moment with the coronavirus going on, and that adds another level of all of those things. From that to having something that I was doing something for myself. I felt good about myself. I got to exercise, but I also got to have my child there with me. I never wanted to go to a gym and leave him in a crèche. I didn't want that. I wanted him to be somewhere where I could see him at all times and have him with me, and to see how to work out, and for him to be grown up with that. And like I said, he's nearly 8 now, and he loves exercising. He comes into the gym. He asked me for little workouts, things for him, and he's done it since he was young. So what an amazing message I'm sending to him. What amazing I said to him, that's already showing that it's traveled through. And so you can do the same for yourself. And I urge you, if you are a mum, a new mum, or even if your kid's older and you feel you are feeling alone and exercise is something that you enjoy, then I encourage you so much, go and join a group. Go and join a group class. It changed me, and it was the best thing I ever did. It's the best thing I ever did. And I feel, I just loved having those people around me, and just other mums to blow things off. Sometimes that you'd be frustrated at different things, but there was mums that understood what you were talking about. And sometimes it's important just to have your thoughts heard. And that's what I said. So there's exercise, but there's also so much more to it. That, sometimes some classes we maybe wouldn't do that much exercise, and we would maybe talk a lot more, but we were still doing something. But sometimes that's what you needed that day too, and just for people to say you're not alone, you're not crazy, I've been through that too, maybe try this. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy, I'm not imagining it, and from something that, instead of keeping it to yourself, not having anyone to talk to, and then it builds up, and then that little thing maybe becomes worse, having that group environment of similar people, it's just so helpful. The classes I run now, we do have a babysitter, and she watches the kids, but you can see your kids at all times, when you're doing it. And also it just depends on lots of people that have just babies, they tend to just stay in their pram. they can, stay in the pram near the mum. But we just judge it on how you're feeling, how your baby's feeling on the day. But I just encourage you, don't be alone. You're not alone. You don't need to be alone. Go and find exercise group of similar mums. You'll find it. You'll be able to try somewhere and you'll see that, oh, yep, these people are just like me, and you'll feel amazing for it. It'll be the first part of your day, but it's just so good. It's the bit that saved me. It really, really saved me. It saved me so much from just being alone and just being at home. Because, there is times, you want your baby to have a routine and it's hard to go out. And, but that's why also I now have the classes online, because sometimes it is a bit hard to get up, but you can still do some form of movement, and you've got someone there watching you. You've got someone there checking on you and letting you know what's the right thing to do that's going to be good for your body and help you recover and repair your core and all those things. And building your core strength up is the most important thing you can do after have a baby. Your tummy has to stretch to have your baby. It has to stretch, but we need to spend the time to get to bring those abdominals back together and really get your core strong, especially for life. But if you're looking at having any other babies, that you want to have another baby, then build your strength up so then you will be even stronger for number 2. But yes, if you are feeling this way, I encourage you so much to find a group class. Group classes, it definitely saved me. It saved me, and having exercise, it was the best thing I did for myself as a new mum. So yeah, if you have any questions on this, if there's something you'd like more information on, if you want to know how to, if you want to know, you want to come and try a class, if you are in another area, if there's something that you can look around you and find it, or if not, my classes are all online, so you can do it via your lounge group too. But I do encourage you to try to go out and find people that you can meet every day, because it's massive. So that is my thoughts for today. I will speak to you again soon. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Elliott's PT podcast. I hope you have been able to find this information of use to you. If you know someone who might enjoy this podcast, please share it with them and ensure that you subscribe so you can be the first to know when new podcasts are released. If you have the time to leave a 5-star review, that would be amazing and it would be greatly appreciated. If you do so, please screenshot and share onto any of our socials and tag us. Then email the screenshot to hello@elliotspt.com and we will send you a free gift to your inbox. Thanks so much. Have an amazing day. Speak soon.